thank you when you state that it's now Main Street's turn. I can assure you the people of Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District greatly appreciate that. And your remarks are quite refreshing. The previous Treasury Secretary, once when I asked what their economic growth initiatives were, they implied that federal spending was their primary, if not only, growth initiative. So clearly, under your leadership and President Trump's and the Republicans in Congress, passing the family's tax cut delivered meaningful tax relief, billions to workers and small business owners, no tax on tips, regulatory reform, no tax on overtime, 100% depreciation. All this is driving our savings. All this is driving our economy for a booming GDP Q3 and Q4 in the over 4% range. So things are going very well. We expect 2026 to be pretty exciting as well. Secretary, if there is anything that was asked that is still on your mind that you would like to respond to, why don't you go ahead and do so?
Again, this is supposed to be a financial stability oversight mission, and that we have taken this very seriously, and we believe that a lack of growth, one of the reasons I am sitting here and came out from behind my very quiet and nice private life is because I was worried that the U.S. was going to become like a European-style social democracy. And indeed, what we are seeing in Europe, in many countries, is the death spiral of higher debt, raised taxes, lower growth. The U.S. will have reported likely, despite the government shutdown, despite the longest government shutdown in history, 4.1% growth for the past 3 quarters. And so we have been successful at that. Europe last week celebrated 0.3% growth. So it's no comparison. Right. And I think we are beginning to accelerate. And importantly, everything we are doing is to fix this terrible Biden inflation from the past 4 years, 21.5%, much more for working families, and we are bringing that down.
Your remarks and the President's remarks in Davos suggested that how you spiral down in your economy, which Europe has been doing, not having closed borders or secure borders anyway, over-reliance upon imports and driving the public sector rather than the private sector is a recipe for disaster. And so we appreciate you correcting the ship and moving the United States in the right direction. Just to get to some questions, Secretary. You've emphasized putting Main Street ahead of Wall Street when evaluating bank capital standards. How will modernizing the capital framework improve credit access and affordability for small businesses, homeowners, farmers, who ultimately, in the end, bear the costs for such excessive capital requirements?
Again, Congressman, the groups you just listed are the 3 most dependent on community and small banks. And we are determined to increase their lending capacity, to increase their proclivity to lend. And we want to do it on a safe, sound, and smart basis.
In the previous administration, we had regulators that imposed capital requirements well beyond the international peers, including the GSIB surcharge, the CCAR, Tier 1 leverage ratios. Are these frameworks being reviewed holistically to better support lending and economic growth?
Again, we are not going to let outside regulators determine what is best for the U.S. financial system.
Thank you.
The strength of the U.S. financial system is the depth and breadth, and we do not want to end up like Canada with 5 banks, Switzerland with 1, France with 3.
Absolutely, great. Your decisive action to confront what should concern all of us, certainly concerns us, is the rampant government benefits fraud uncovered in Minnesota. Can you walk us through how Treasury is using your authorities to identify, disrupt, and recover fraud proceeds, and how Minnesota is serving as a start for a broader national enforcement model?
Indeed, there is a substantial amount of waste, fraud, and abuse, and Americans and legislators on both sides of the aisle should be outraged when you are there and you see empty daycare centers, senior centers, and I personally met with 2 centers for autistic children, and they are not getting their benefits. So we are using our regulations under FinCEN to follow the money, which is what we've done, whether it's Mexican drug cartels, whether it's the mafia or whether
Time has expired.
it is
Thank you, Mr.
people
Chairman. I
who've done
yield
this.
back. Thank you,
Gentleman
Secretary,
yields.
very, very much for your